Yeah, I just convicted a few people right there. Amen. But let it not be said that on the watch of Peoria, that we excluded more people than we welcomed, and that we lost more people than we found, and that we incarcerated more people than we graduated, and that we built more churches than lives. Let that not be said about our watch. There are three things I want you to consider, three action items as it relates to affirming America's promise. I know you probably thought Reverend Deere's going to come in here and talk about politics and stuff like that. No, I'm talking about you tonight, amen? Because when it comes to hearing a message about us, some people want to hear it and some people don't. But there are three things that we need to do to affirm America's promise. The first is that we need to change the game. What do you mean by that, Reverend Deere? Well, you see, there is a game of politics and there's a game of economics out here. And what this world needs more than anything today is a game changer. Someone who is willing to change the game. A game changer is someone who is not afraid and someone who knows how to change the architecture of innovation. He or she is not afraid to change the course or the direction of a particular agenda. He or she knows how to influence a different outcome. You're not with me yet. I don't hear anybody saying amen. The game changer, maybe I don't have any game changers in the room. Maybe that's why I'm not hearing any amens. But the game changers are people who are not afraid to challenge the status quo. People who are not afraid to delete the template. People who are not afraid to flip the script. You see, Oprah Winfrey was a game changer. She was told that she would never make it. She was told that her eyes were too far apart, that her nose was too wide, and that she was too dark. But Oprah decided not to listen to the critics, and she decided to persevere and pursue her dream. And the rest, as they say, is history. President Barack Obama, just in case you need some examples, President Barack Obama is a game changer. The pundits said that in order to be president, you had to be in Congress or a long-termer in the Senate. But he rose in less than 4 years, amen, in less than 4 years from community organizer to president of the United States of America. Now, whether you want to hear this or not, it's the truth. But the Tea Party is a game changer. The Tea Party made us look at things very differently. The Tea Party challenged Democrats and Republicans. They created a movement that challenged the debate, dialogue, and destiny of all sitting and future candidates. Mark Zuckerberg is a game changer. Now I know some of you are saying, who is Mark Zuckerberg? Mark Zuckerberg is the inventor and the innovator of Facebook. Amen. A multi-billion dollar company. Over 500 million people on Facebook. That is a game changer. Amen. Didn't even exist 10 years ago, but today, everybody's on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, say amen. If you're not on Facebook, we're just going to say have mercy on you. This Occupy Washington, Occupy New York, Occupy Peoria, Occupy period, game changer. Game changer. They are bringing something completely different to this country. They are not asking for memberships. They are not asking for anything except us to join us at this Occupy whatever. You see, game changers are people who are not afraid to have a courageous conversation. These are people that do not live with their head stuck in the sand. These are people that seek knowledge and respond to situations. These are people who are not afraid to confront their own biases, beliefs, and bigotry. They are not afraid to have conversations about race.
That's right.
Change the game in spite of cynics, skeptics, and critics.
Right.
Because when you step out there to do something different, you will indeed become a target. You will indeed become challenged by others as well as criticized. But I come by here to encourage somebody to change the boundaries of the game.
Amen.
Change the parameters of the game.
Amen.
Think beyond the game, and if you have to, redefine the game.
Amen.
So that's the first thing that we need. We need some game changers. And the other thing that I want you to know is that it only takes one.
That's right. That's all.
It only takes one. The political climate today calls for it only takes one response. It only takes one to break with indifference and apathy.
That's right.
It only takes one to stop going with the flow. It only takes one who dares to break with tradition and to stop echoing and parroting party lines. It only takes one to just go against the grain. It takes only one parent to challenge principals, superintendents, and school boards to create a better learning experience for our children. Amen. It only takes only one pastor needed to step out of the pulpit and into the unemployment, foreclosure, and food lines to help the least of these. It only takes one. Only one candidate is needed to defeat these elected officials who do not care about the disenfranchised. It only takes one elected official, but you know, in order for them to be elected, you got to go out and vote. Amen. It only takes one elected official to defeat the people who do not believe that senior citizens need Social Security. It only takes one candidate, one elected official, to defeat those people who believe and do not care about the disinherited and the defenseless. It only took one seamstress who refused to go to the back of the bus to start a civil rights movement. It only took one call after Rosa was arrested to get Martin involved in the movement. It only took one community organizer from the south side of Chicago to run for the highest office in the world and win. It only takes one. It does not take a crowd. It does not take a committee. It does not take a caucus or a coalition. It only takes one. Not one that has been convinced and compelled and coerced, but one that believes that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. It only takes one. You have been sitting around far too long waiting for a meeting. You've been sitting around far too long waiting for a caucus. You've been sitting around far too long waiting for a coalition. But I come back and tell somebody that it don't take all of that. It only takes one.
That's right.
It only takes one.
That's it.
And even though that one person in this room hears this message, one person will hear the message and another person won't. One person will know that they need to respond, and one will attempt to respond, and one won't. So we need to do a third thing. So we know we need some game changers, right? And we know that it doesn't take a crowd of people. It just takes one person to step out of the rut and the ritual and the routine. Amen. And resist and reject what they believe and feel to be comfortable and familiar. It only takes one. And then finally, I need to tell you this because you probably don't really realize this. And the thing that we need to really affirm America's promise so that everybody can pursue life, liberty, and happiness, we need to use our power. And I know somebody say, I don't have any power. I don't have a job. How is it that I have power? I'm not at the upper echelon of my job. What power do I have? Let me tell you what kind of power you have. In the ecological world, phantom power is a method where energy is absorbed from the power grid when you aren't looking and when you don't know it. Gadgets, electronic devices, and appliances draw power even when they are switched off or not in use. And this is why engineers tell us to unplug our appliances or devices, because even when they are not plugged in, even while they are plugged in and not in use, they are still drawing power. I don't hear anybody helping me with this. In other words, let me make this more personal. In other words, when you are asleep and switched off and not in use, we are still drawing power from the power source. When we feel like we don't have strength and we feel like we can't go any further, remember that all night long you have been absorbing power from the power source. When you feel like you can't face burdens, you feel like you can't face bad news or barriers, let me tell you something. You have the power because you have been soaking up and absorbing power from the power source. You may feel tired, but the Lord has made you stronger than you think you are. You might feel helpless, but the Lord has made you more powerful than you think you are. You may feel like giving up, but the Lord has made you more resilient than you think you are. You may feel tired, like you can't go any further, but the Lord has gave you power and strength. We have voting power. We are the ones that put Barack Obama in office. We have economic power.
Talk about it.
We have economic power. The Nielsen company came out with a report last week that said African Americans have more than, we are approaching in 2 years, $1 trillion in economic power. We all have power. We have voting power. But you know what, Reverend? Even with voting power, some people will use it and some people won't.
You're right about it, Reverend.
We have all kinds of economic power. Some of us wear it. I know who I'm talking to tonight. We have all kinds of economic power that we can use. But some will, and some won't. We have power, but we don't use the power that God has given us. And I have just come by to tell a few people as I close that there is a promise. There's a promise in the Constitution. There's a promise to us in the Declaration of Independence. Every time someone, an elected official, raises their hand and takes an oath, they are making a promise. And all of these people need to be held accountable.